Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. I begin this narration of pilgrimage across the sacred land of India at one of its highest and most remote points, the village of Mana, perched on the border with Tibet, about 3,400 meters above sea level. Here lies the legendary cave of Vyasa, called Vyas Gufa, the sage and chronicler who, it is said, organized the Vedas and gifted humanity with the epic Mahabharata. May Goddess Saraswati, sage Vyasa, Master Swami Sivananda, and our teacher Swami Vishnu Devananda bless me in writing this humble text. Travel notes from my pilgrimage across northern India in the autumn of 2024. This text is presented to you by Rajeshwari. Day 1. We left Delhi in the afternoon. Our group consists of about 50 people, many of whom are swamis, brahmacharis and staff from the Sivananda Yoga Centres of Europe, as well as teachers and students from different countries. I think the first thing that impresses you, quite literally, when you arrive in India is its special fragrance. This distinct scent greets you almost as soon as you step off the plane. It is not exactly pleasant or unpleasant. It's a unique mix of the Indian heat, big city smog, vibrant spices, oils, exhaust fumes, and a certain elusive element that, in my opinion, you can only find here, a sense of divine closeness, as daily life and spirituality are tightly interwoven here like nowhere else in the world. Vrindavan, our destination, is a place dear to every devotee of Krishna. According to legend, this is where young Krishna played with the village women or gopis and caused his mischiefs. These days, the city is so crowded with tourists and pilgrims that it's best to arrive at dawn or dusk, when the daily bustle subsides and the streets breathe in the cool night air. Under the cover of night, we arrive in this enchanted city. Day 2. For the next 7 days, this wonderful, cozy ashram on the banks of the Yamuna river, near the Radha Ghat or bathing ghat, and the ancient temples of the city will be our home. The pilgrim's schedule echoes that of the ashram. Morning meditation begins with a group mantra chanting. Chanting the Maha Mantra, accompanied by 3 local musicians on harmonium, cymbals, and percussions. The kirtan flows from gentle ragas to wake us from sleep, to more spirited melodies as we praise the blessed Lord Krishna. The final note rings out as voices merge in one harmonious call, Hari Bol. Later, during the first lecture, we discuss what a yatra, a spiritual pilgrimage, truly is. Gopala, an experienced yogi and speaker from Spain, guides us along the fine line between a travel and a pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is a journey to divinity. Armed with Gopala's advice, we remember the most important rule. The ideal life is one without expectations. That evening, our Bhagavata Saptaha program, a 7-day journey into the subtle essence of life, begins under the guidance of Sri Venugopal Goswami. With grace and simplicity, he charms and teaches us through stories from the Holy Scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. Day 3. The day begins with group mantra chanting, and as our ears grow accustomed to unfamiliar melodies, we join in with confidence, harmonizing with the leader and catching the subtleties of the Indian scale. Yoga classes help us adjust to the flow and build endurance so we are less distracted by some physical discomfort and get fully absorbed in our spiritual program. Today, in a beautiful lecture on Bhakti, Swami Sivananda introduces us to the book of our Guru, Swami Sivananda, all about Hinduism. He explains concepts like lower Bhakti and para Bhakti, or highest Bhakti, and how Jnana Yoga, the yoga of wisdom, and Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, merge in the end. In the evening, Sri Venugopal Goswami guides us along the path of love consciousness, as taught in this sacred text. Each phrase deserves a lecture, or at the very least, a meditation. Hearing it once is not enough. To internalize this wisdom, one must follow the threefold path of yogic knowledge. First, hear the truth, then reflect on it, and then meditate on it until it becomes part of your own being. Liberation is acceptance, surrender to love, consciousness. This is the journey. Day 4. Our life in the ashram settles into a familiar rhythm. Group kirtan at dawn, pranayama and asanas, with deep shavasana in the ashram's tranquility. The city's distant sounds no longer disturb, but instead add a subtle backdrop to the ashram's inner peace. The grounds are well kept, with ample shade from green trees, providing refuge from the midday sun. The ashram staff ensures everything runs smoothly, from sweeping the courtyard and keeping the monkeys at bay, to preparing nourishing food and decorating the hall for the evening program. It is a joy to see how the ashram functions like a living organism, each member's contributions harmonizing with one another. The daily pujas for the ashram deities, primarily Krishna, have become an essential part of our routine, a form of protection, blessing, and spiritual alignment for the day. Even if we are not consciously aware of it, the various mantras and chants create an invisible sheet around us, fortifying our aura. Day 5. The day begins with a special darshan, or temple visit, at the Sri Radha Raman Mandir, one of Vrindavan's most revered temples, over 500 years old. We enter almost first and wait in cool silence before the altar. Behind the curtain of rich blue velvet is the main deity, Krishna, as Radha Ramana, the lover of Radha. The temple fills quickly, and soon a male voice begins chanting the Mahamantra accompanied by harmonium. This sound mingles with the voices of devotees greeting one another and their Lord. Somewhere a woman starts a soulful song to Krishna, her sweet voice tinged with sadness and hope, perhaps a gopi song of longing for her beloved Krishna. Suddenly the curtain opens, and there he is, the black Krishna, richly dressed, and it seems smiling. But all I can focus on are his eyes, large, almond-shaped. There is no escaping or hiding from that gaze. In it, I see perhaps a hint of a smirk, perhaps a gentle reproach, but mostly a powerful affirmation of life and love. We participate in the arati, and the priest distributes the flame which we accept as a protective covering. One last look before the curtain closes and the temple starts to empty. It's time to begin the day after the first morning encounter with God. Day 6. This morning we woke up before dawn again and set off to the Gopishwar Mahadev Mandir, a temple of Lord Shiva. Legend has it that Lord Shiva is worshipped here in the form of a beautiful gopi. He is called Gopishwara. And in this form he appeared in Vrindavan to participate in Krishna's Ras Leela or divine play. Our path winds through the narrow streets of Vrindavan, the city still asleep with only a few passerby, dogs and motionless monkeys cuddling on the rooftops. Vindavan is known for its old sewage system, which runs not underground but right along the streets. Unfortunately, this means we not only see but also smell all the aromas, scents and foul odors of the residents' activities literally rotting on the streets. One must be careful while walking. The road is uneven, sometimes hastily constructed, often damaged. It's important to watch where you step to avoid landing in a pile of garbage or cow dung or a forgotten tattered trouser. As I navigate the alleys of the city to the temple, I reflect on what a blessing it is for us to be in the refuge of the Radha Raman Ashram under the protection and guidance of our host, Sri Venugopal Goswami. How wise the swamis were to prohibit participants in the Yatra from wandering the city alone. Even in these little stricter prohibitions, one can find and discern the love and care of the teacher and the master. During the evening program with Sri Venugopal Goswami, we once again journey to the Dvapara Yuga, the era of Krishna's life, immersing ourselves in the stories of Prahlada and Bharata. The lecture explains our senses are given to us to explore and know God. In this process of divine storytelling, I can fully experience this. My gaze is fixed on the inspired lecturer. My ears catch a variety of sounds, the recitation of Sanskrit, exquisite ragas praising Krishna and Shiva in turn, the melodic song of the flute, the steady harmonies of the harmonium, the reliable rhythms of the percussions, and the ringing splashes of the cymbals. My sense of smell picks up the aromas of incense from the temple, mixed with the scents of spices and baking bread from the kitchen, as well as the first fresh scents of the descending night over the city. The fabric of a light shawl wraps around my body, and yet another invisible covering of sacred texts and music performed by musicians envelops me, evoking the inner sense of touch. All of this creates a final chord of taste, a sweet sensation of the renowned rasa, the subtle relish. All five senses bask in the divine waves of the Bhagavata Saptaha, immersing myself in love consciousness. After witnessing the puja for baby Krishna yesterday, today's program elevates us another step. A puja for the mountain Govardhan, a rare ritual, as it seemed to me, almost no one present had ever seen before. I will keep the details a secret, so that in your own time you can savor this mystery as well. Day 7. A new day brings up new surprises. Today it's a darshan on the sacred river Yamuna. We board the boats shortly after dawn, filled with energy as the river gently carries our boats along its banks. From the boat, we can see a local roadside market with essential goods, fruits, and tea. Sacred cows wander along the banks in search of prasad, or sacred food from the devotees, while sadhus, wandering monks without homes or possessions, take a break from their austerities. From both sides of our group boats, we sing a kirtan praising Krishna, Radha, the river Yamuna, and Vrindavan itself. Yamuna tira vihari, Vrindavan sanchari. On the opposite bank of the river, a little away from the city's bustle, we stop for a tea break, taking in the white domes of the temples in the sacred city, gazing at the pale sandy fields of the surrounding villages, and inhaling the morning air. My imagination conjures tales of Krishna's childhood, when he, as a coward, roamed these very fields and forests, playing pranks and mischief, taming the fearsome serpent living in the Yamuna river, and lifting the famous Govardhana hill on his pinky finger. It feels as though I'm entering a realm of wonders. Fairy tales come alive, and it becomes unclear where the fine line between reality and mystery lies. Divine Mother Yamuna, I prostrate to you. In the evening program with Sri Venugopal Goswami, he echoes my morning thoughts. The ultimate decoration of life means I am understood. No need to search further. Day 8. Today is our last day in Vrindavan. Tomorrow morning, we will continue our journey further up into the Himalayas. The day began with a darshan at the Govind Dev Ji temple. As in many temples in India, photography was prohibited inside this spacious, beautiful temple. Perhaps that's why one vivid picture remains in my memory. I stand before the main altar, the deities preparing to receive us, still hidden behind beautifully carved doors. In front of me, about 30 women sit on the floor, their faces hidden from view. Each one's attention is directed towards the sanctum sanctorum, as if waiting for a miracle. They loudly, passionately, and with feeling sing their love song to Krishna. It's a long bhajan, as far as I can tell, in Hindi, a song of longing to meet Krishna, their beloved, like a son or a brother. In whatever form Krishna presents himself to his devotees, each finds what they have been searching for: love, forgiveness, hope, spiritual ecstasy, repentance, freedom. In the evening of this day, which also included a colorful outing to the Vrindavan market, we witnessed the vibrant finale of the Bhagavata Saptaha. After the thrilling anticipation of their beloved, the gopis finally bow their heads to Krishna's chest. Their minds are captivated by Krishna, surrendering their cares and concerns to him. Krishna fully captures their attention, and in a spiritual trance, the gopis danced, enveloped in moonlight. The music is so enchanting and captivating that none of us can sit still. Our bodies begin to move to the rhythm, first shyly, and then more boldly, one by one. The participants rise and begin to dance, gracefully and with dignity at first. But the music doesn't fade, it accelerates. Our own masks fall away, and we dance like children, joyfully and wholeheartedly, as if no one is watching. For just a moment, we resemble the gopis. We are carefree friends of Krishna, basking in his adoration and care. What could possibly be higher than this elevated moment? Yet, Sri Venugopal urges us to hold our breath and witness a true miracle, a shower of fresh, fragrant rose petals, first poured onto the altar, onto the statue of Lord Krishna, onto our teachers, and then onto us. What an ecstasy! When the mind is happy without reason, sattva or purity is coming. So we dive and bathe in sattva this night. Day 9. We spent the entire day on the road. The journey from the flat lands of Vrindavan and the tranquil Yamuna to the high-altitude Rudraprayag and the rushing Ganga. This journey takes many hours. I love spending time traveling. The journey gives me a special mindset. I hover between the point of departure and the destination, in a moment of impermanence, which is the true moment. On the road, the thin threads of attachment to one place are severed, and connections with another have yet to form. In this interval between two egregores, the mind becomes clear and calm, allowing for prolonged concentration on the image of nature outside the window, gazing far and high at the jagged horizon formed by the mountains. If you don't get caught up in the physical discomforts of long travels, you can spend time in silence, mantra, repetition, and contemplation. The delicate blue thread of the Ganga winds its way through the depths of the gorge, like a connecting link between the fresh impressions of the past and the yet to be formed future. Day 10. Our pilgrimage brings us to the spiritual gems of Rudraprayag, a special spot in the Himalayas where the Alaknanda and Mandakini rivers meet, merging into what will later be known as the Ganga downstream at Devprayag. Not far from our hub at Monal Resort, a lovely stone hotel with sweeping views of the wild river below, lies the Koteshwara temple, a historic Shiva temple with a natural Shiva lingam tucked away in a tiny cave. According to legend, Lord Shiva meditated here en route to Kedarnath. The cave itself is only large enough for a couple of people, adding to the sense of intimacy and reverence. Outside, the Alaknanda river flows fiercely, fulfilling its dharma, as Sri Venugopal Goswami said, heading resolutely towards the ocean. We all visit the confluence itself, known locally as Prayag, where the rivers join. Overlooking this powerful meeting of waters is the Chamunda Devi temple, dedicated to the fierce goddess Kali. The black murti of Kali has a piercing energy, and today she is being honored by a woman priest who blesses us with two beautiful bhajans. Her message resonates as she sings, "The real temple is within your own heart." She repeats it over and over, as if urging us to remember and internalize this simple yet profound truth. On the way back, we stop at a traditional Gurukula, a school for young boys aged 11 to 18, who are immersed in the study of ancient texts like the Vedas, Puranas, and Sanskrit grammar. The students chant a verse which expresses a prayer for knowledge, skills, and a long life. Their clear voices carry through the space, offering us a form of sonar meditation. Day 11. We are back on the road, climbing even higher into the mountains towards our final pilgrimage site, Badrinath, one of the 4 dhams or sacred places marking the source of India's holy river, the Ganga. We arrive in the afternoon, and settle into our hotel just a short walk from the Badrinath temple. This revered sanctuary, dedicated to Lord Vishnu, who meditates here in the full lotus pose, is the spiritual heart of this high-altitude town. That evening we attend the arati or light ceremony at the temple. Inside, the space is divided. Those who have purchased special entry can sit directly in front of the altar, while others gather in the general area behind. Our group finds a spot close to the main entrance, giving us a good view of the golden calf altar. At the appointed hour, the curtain opens, revealing the temple's main murti, a dark granite deity said to have been discovered by Adi Shankara himself in the river. The ceremony begins as the priest from southern India carefully removes Lord Vishnu garments and ornaments and preparing the deity for rest. The evening arati concludes, and the flickering of the lamps illumines the divine figure one last time before nightfall. Day 12. In the morning, the part of our group heads back to the temple darshan. Later, we set off to explore Mana village, the last settlement before the Tibetan border. The village winds along a pedestrian path with quaint shops and cafes, giving it a peaceful, old world feel. Our guide takes us to the two ancient caves, one dedicated to Ganesha, where he is said to have written down the verses of the Mahabharata, and another to Vyasa, who is believed to have composed the Vedas here and dictated the Mahabharata to Ganesha. Nearby, the Saraswati river begins its journey. Legends say that Vyasa, working on his texts, was so disturbed by the river's roar that he commanded it to quiet down. Obeying, the Saraswati river descended into the earth, becoming a hidden river. Here we catch a rare glimpse of the river's source before it disappears into the rocks. Crossing the Saraswati river over the Bhima bridge, a massive stone said to have been placed here by the mighty Bhima for his wife Draupadi, we reach a striking golden monument dedicated to the four Pandava brothers of the Bhagavad Gita. This is where, according to lore, they set off on their journey to the heavens. Day 13. Early morning we find ourselves walking through the silent, sleepy streets of Badrinath for one last darshan or visit at the temple. It's remarkable how quiet and serene life feels here. With hardly any modern distractions, you are able to fully immerse yourself and imagine the simple, wholesome life of those in this secluded mountain town. At the temple, we wait our turn for the darshan. Entry to the main part is controlled by a list, which helps with order. But there is a clear impatience in the air, a powerful eagerness among the devotees to encounter the divine inside. Securing a spot close to the altar takes persistence and focus, but the effort is more than worth it. The priest slowly and reverently performs the abhishekam, or the bathing with milk and water of the deity, applying sandalwood paste to Lord Vishnu, then moves through the symbolic ritual of dressing the deity in elaborate garments, adornments, garlands, and powders. The puja culminates with the placement of a golden crown encrusted with jewels and finishes with the arati. I observe, humbled and inspired, as those around me receive darshan with deep devotion. A woman sits beside me, eyes fixed unwaveringly on the murti for the full 3-hour ceremony, seemingly untouched by the passage of time, as she absorbs the grace emanating from the black stone. I find myself reflecting on the superficiality of my own faith, the way the mind is prone to seek explanations, justifications, to question and doubt. Here, beside a woman whose demeanor radiates simple, unshakable belief, I witness the miracle unfolding, the profound impact of true devotion. Day 14. Today is our second to last day on this pilgrimage. Having reached the spiritual summit, we begin the descent, preparing to wrap up this mystical journey, this Yatra. In Rudraprayag, we are anticipating Diwali, a grand feast with Lakshmi Puja led by our priest Sri Krishna at Monal Resort. Fireworks light up the sky and countless lamps brighten our cozy yoga hall. Outside, the Ganga Ma roars as the night settles gently over our mountain retreat, the faint lights in villages' homes blending seamlessly with the stars above. In this quiet darkness, we gather one last time on the terrace to sing the Ganga Arati. Om Jaya Gange Maya, Maya Jaya Gange Mata. Sharing this spiritual song with others, singing together, forms an invisible bond of brothers and sisters in this spiritual kinship. We are all of us children of the same divine and disciples of one Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Sivanandaya. I mentally say goodbye to our teachers, Swami Durgananda, Swami Kailasananda, Swami Shivadasananda, whose love and care I have felt every step of our journey. Day 15. The day has come to end our journey. Bags packed, flight check-in completed. We say our goodbyes to our teachers and to our spiritual brothers and sisters and set out on our final descent, leaving the Himalayas behind and heading down to the foothills to a place that has long drawn seekers of truth. Once a humble village, Rishikesh has grown into a bustling city. What draws me most here is my spiritual alma mater, the Sivananda Ashram, founded about 100 years ago on the banks of the Ganga. The ashram remains active with a publishing house established by the teacher, a hospital, several institutions and other facilities. We make our way through Rishikesh's crowded, dusty streets, filled with noise and color, and finally step onto the ashram grounds. First, we visit Gurudev's Ananda Kutir. We take our time moving through each place, absorbing the peace and spiritual presence that permeates everything. Then it's time for a final visit to the Ganga. We walk down to the river's edge, where the water flows briskly, as if reminding us of the endless journey of seekers before us who have come to this very spot. We stay in silence for a few moments, each of us, I guess, offering our own private gratitude for the experience and guidance we have received along the way. Then we climb the steep steps up to the Samadhi hall, the temple, the bhajan hall, and the bookstore. Here everything feels pristine, tranquil, and orderly, each detail encouraging a meditative state. We linger as long as we can in the ashram, untempted by the vibrant market stalls and colorful souvenirs outside. We take one last prolonged look at the ashram and the river before making our way back to our bustling lives. Being honest with you, I always felt drawn to ashram life or the simplicity of a monastery. Yet, the karma of this lifetime has its own priorities. It's time to return home, carrying the memories of this journey like a fragile flame from the Arati, lighting the way forward towards new heights, both physical and hopefully spiritual. Until we meet again. Om Shanti.